As we enter the new term, we seek ways to navigate pathways and seize those Toastmasters benefits and opportunities. DCP and member growth, can one work without the other? Our second speaker is a radiant grandmother, I'm proud of it, and a property manager. Distinguished Toastmaster Maria Luisa Joven has been with Toastmasters for some 10 years and has carved a path in training and mentoring members among other pursuits like creating clubs, participating in speech contests, and community outreach programs. She has been a member of the 2020 District 75 training team and is sponsor mentor of Dasmariñas City Toastmasters Club that belongs to the top 3 Toastmasters clubs in the world. To share her thoughts on meeting our education goals, put your hands together for distinguished Toastmaster Luisa.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? It's nice to be here, and it's my pleasure that you have invited me. Let me share my screen.
Sige, ma'am. Alright. After Zoom.
Okay. So this evening, I'll be sharing you the best educational practices of a successful Toastmasters Club, which I called the BTEEE. So I heard, Toastmaster Roger, you are the BTE for this term, right? So I need your 110% attention here. Okay, let me start. Knowledge check first. Especially the officers. Can you please raise your hand if you know these things very well? Number 1, are you aware of your duties and responsibilities? Reaction please. Next, do you know how distinguished club program works? Okay. Next, do you know what is club success plan? Okay. Why do you have to know all these things? These meetings are important and essential and required for you to perform your role effectively. This is the first thing that you have to know.
Tingnan ko. Basta ako, kasi
In my
nakakita ko
lecture now,
alas
in
8
the best education
sa clubhouse, no?
successful Toastmasters Club, I have considered 5 important elements. Wherein, if you do this correctly, it will surely result to success. And what are those 5? The BTEEE. Those are vision, classmates education program, effective meetings, events, and engagement of members. Vision. We all know what is vision, right? Vision is the thing where we want to be at the end of the line. Vision is something that we are wishing for to be at the end. And all leaders like you should work today in accomplishment of that vision. As we say, we have to begin with the end in mind and focus on the goals. Let me share with you. Dasmariñas City Toastmasters Club goals that our President, Attorney Luisa, has given us. And this is included in her very first speech on the very first day of meeting last June 2020. She made it clear to us that she wants to achieve this goal. She wants us to be the number 1 in the world. She wants us to have triple crown members. She even gave us the strategies how to achieve this goal. By the way, in just 4 months, in just October 2020, we are already a President Distinguished Club. Why? Because we focus on the goals. And not to brag, this is just yesterday. Dasmariñas is number 1 in the world when it comes to educational awards, with a total of 132 total awards. Awards mean levels, If you will convert it into speech, that's more than 500 speeches. How did we do that? Because we focus on our goals. We know what we want to do, and we are focused on that. Everything that we do is because of that goal. Let's go to next. The Pathways Education Program. Okay, let me now ask you, from 1 to 10, let me know, 10 being the highest, your knowledge about pathways. Can you please this? It's not all petals and roses for our club. We have gone through this. There are sometimes that there's only 3 of us, 4 of us, but we continue the meeting. Why? Because we do not want to lose the momentum. Every meeting is an opportunity to learn and practice speaking. So we should not let it go. This is an example of our agenda for 1 month. Take note. We hold our meeting twice in a month. Others are saying, how can you do that? It's impossible, but we made it possible. That's why we were able to do all those speeches, those awards, because of this twice in a week meeting. Can you see? The theme is already there. There's a theme for the month. There's a theme for each meeting, so that the Toastmasters will not have hard time to think of the theme anymore. It's there, but they have the right, or they have the liberty to change it. All the rotators are there. They can easily see. What else? Plan for joint meetings, especially now in the platform that we are using. It's really limitless, borderless. You can even go to the Facebook page of Toastmasters online community and contact any club there and ask them, can you have a joint meeting? So it's very easy. Invite guest speakers or evaluators. This will give us fresh perspective. Do not forget the business portion at the end of your meeting, because it's a very good chance to get the attention of all your members. And business portion is where you will announce the events, maybe remind them of the club fees, or maybe ask for some concerns of your members. They want to be heard from. And this one, you can include educational portion. There is this Better Speaker Series, Successful Club Series, Leadership Excellence Series still in our website. They're not yet dead. Even we have changed the Pathways Education Program, they are still there and they are very, very useful. Sometimes the members or our guests will appreciate this because they want to have this like a mini seminar, so they like this one. So this is one example of our poster when we had the Better Speakers Series in each of our meetings. These are monthly meeting things, that's what I showed you. The joint meetings, just recently we had a joint meeting with a Japanese club, and in July we are going to have a joint meeting with a club in Ukraine. Imagine, we're going to Russia. No, it's not Russia, they said. It's beside Russia. Okay, you can also have some unique meeting roles like energizer. You know, before you start the meeting, someone will do some like a game. Like when we start today, it's very good. Let's not have a dull moment. Play a video, play some music, chat with the guests. Have some energizer. You can have a joke master. And recently, I heard this quiz master in one of the clubs that I attended. It's really fun. What does he do? He simply asks you anything about what happened in the meeting, like what did Toastmaster Arlene said about this, and you have to answer that. So it's really nice to have. Now, my challenge to Los Banos Toastmasters Club. Please check possibility of additional meeting schedule. I know what you will say. We only conduct twice a month, but nobody attends. Just try. Just try. Because it will become more exciting and you will become more visible. Maybe you can cut the schedule of other people who cannot attend with your current schedule. Just try. That's just my challenge to you. Now, let's go to events. You should have special events. Speechcraft, community outreach, like what Sir Bolt said, new member orientation anniversary, and speech marathon. These are some of the special events that we had, and we're very proud of it, and that it was a very overwhelming experience. Now, member engagement. When I say member engagement, I want to focus on the Facebook page.
KM?
Make sure that your Facebook page is active. Now, how can you say that your Facebook page is active? How many posts per week, per month, before you say it's active? According to study, you should have at least 3 times in a week post before it becomes a really active page. So what can you post there? You can have post-meeting updates, like just now, after our meeting, maybe you can post some pictures. This is what happened, this is what we learned. Come join us at the next meeting. You can post the things of the meeting and the schedule, the special event. And I also advise to boost. I know you are aware of this feature of Facebook, and it's very easy to boost. In just 500 or 500 pesos, you can boost it for like 3 to 5 days, and you can reach a lot of people, like 3,000, 5,000 people. Your club will be known to a lot of people, especially if you want to increase membership. Now, PM queries. I actually just checked your Facebook page, and the last event that was scheduled there was 2020. And I'm not sure if there's an auto-reply when somebody inquires in your Facebook page. You should put an auto-reply recognizing the inquiry, informing them of the schedule of the meeting and who to contact so that they can attend. So make sure you have that. Of course, you can include birthday greetings, accomplishment level, and don't forget, recognition is very important, as what Ike and Gold said. Because, as they said, a person that is recognized will do more as expected. So, recognize all those excelling. These are some of the votes that we have in our FPK, welcoming new members, half completion. And for this month of June, we have this recognition, the most number of speeches for the month of June. It's not very expensive, but it's just fun and cute. And they all love it. Most of all, I have mentioned everything already that you have to do. But most of all, it's important to have, as what our president said, inner motivation. It's inside you. The passion for self-improvement and take the club to excellence. And you can only this too if you really believe in the organization. If your volunteerism really comes from inside your heart. And I believe all of you here have the heart for Toastmasters. And those things that I said can be easily done if you only have it. And last but not the least, empathy and acceptance. Maybe you assign role takers, they did not come. Maybe somebody said that I'll deliver, then the last meeting said, oh sorry, I cannot. Well, don't be sad, don't be discouraged. We all have to remember that we cannot please everybody. We cannot pressure anybody. Maybe they have some other priorities in life. So let's just empathize them. Let's accept. And let's move forward. And let's all do what we got to do so that we can accomplish our vision. Let me end with these 2 quotes. I have 2 quotes for you. By the way, let me remind you the BPEED. Quote from our founder, leadership is the capacity to look ahead, that's the vision, think ahead, and plan ahead, and then influence other people to go ahead on the plan. My next quote is, we already know how to plan our meetings, take roles, but the secret of success is to do the common thing uncommonly well.
Pwede naman propose.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Luisa. That was a wonderful speech, and now I took a lot of notes.
Si Ma'am Lon, ready na yan eh. Lon, ready ka na, Lon? Ready ka na?
And before we go on,
So go ahead. Joke lang po. Our final speaker tonight does not need any introduction because it takes away time from him to share his gems of thoughts and ideas and inspire us to walk his path. And second, no introduction is enough for this Toastmaster whose good deeds have touched lives in many countries in the world. When you talk about training, his name comes up. When people talk about tireless mentoring, he is up and about, face-to-face or virtually, ready to be your buddy, your listener, your mentor, even your tormentor. Here to give us the juicy tidbits about mentoring with results from Imus Wagayway Toastmasters Club, please heart, clap, and confetti together for distinguished Toastmaster Nomel.
Well, before anything else, I'd like to know, when do we start mentoring?
So, meron siyang 5 years a day. Pwede na pasok. Sa business is 9K. Iwan ko yun.
as soon as the new member comes in,
Alright? How soon is the Toastmaster Arlene?
right after induction.
Right after induction. Alright. I think that's very good enough for me. Mentoring begins as soon as a new member joins the club. We do not delay that. As soon as as soon as a person decides to join the club, pays the membership due, even before you remitted the payment to WHQ, make sure to start working on the members' mentoring. Why? Because mentoring is all about members. I have been club president for 4 times in my 21 years as a Toastmaster, and with humility, I would like to say that in 4 instances, all the 4 clubs that I led were President's Distinguished Club. The success was not because I was the president. The success was because in all 4 instances, we have implemented a very strong mentoring program, which we also adopted in the Smyrna City Toastmasters Club 4 years ago. That was the first time the Smyrna City Toastmasters Club became number 2 in the world. Well, we were actually number 1 until June 30, when Queen's Best Toastmasters Club from New York upended us with last-minute submissions of awards. And I have advised Louis, in fact, yesterday, that it might again happen this year, so beware. And by the way, they have renamed their club, Louis. They are now America's Best. So, yes, fellow Toastmasters, when we talk about mentoring, we talk about members. There are no best practices when it comes to mentoring, because anything that you do to mentor a member is a best practice. There are no wrong answers when it comes to mentoring. The only wrong is when we do not mentor our members. That's when retention becomes difficult. You see, in the presentation of BTM Bolts, the recurring theme is not the fun meetings that IAM had, but in all the fun meetings that they had, mentoring is front and center. In the presentation of Louis, it's not the quality educational program that is front and center. In everything that they have done, it is actually a strong mentoring. Because when we plan our meetings, when we support our members, it naturally comes as a second scheme to mentor our members. But I have some good news for you. In Pathways educational program, mentoring has become a very important aspect. Unlike in the legacy program where you have the option not to pursue mentoring, in Pathways, it's still the same. If you don't want to be a mentor, you may choose not to. But why waste the free module? See, the Toastmasters Pathways Mentoring Program is a free module. You don't have to purchase it. And the good thing about it is you only have to do it once in your lifetime. As soon as you have completed your first path, as soon as you completed the second level in your first path, the Toastmasters Pathways Mentor Program will be automatically activated on your base camp. And that's it. You have the option to work on it or not to work on it. But if you ask my opinion, and probably this is one of the best practices that we can consider, it is important that you work on it. Why? Because you will discover a lot of gems in the Toastmasters Pathways Mentoring Program. You might have been coaching people in your professional life or in Toastmasters, but the Toastmasters Mentoring Program will afford you a new insight on how we do mentoring and why it is essential for us to mentor our members. But do you know that in Pathways, there are actually two clear divides as far as mentoring is concerned. The first divide is mentoring before you become a Pathways mentor. The second is mentoring after you have completed the Toastmasters mentor program. And this is where Los Baños Toastmasters Club will definitely excel. Why? A quick look at your membership will tell us that you have great members of long standing. DTM Bobby, DTM Betsy, Arlene, Joven, Rini. These are gems of Division K. So imagine if these members will be pushed, not lovingly, but pushed hard to focus on mentoring the members like Regine or Rog. Imagine what Los Baños can achieve in the future. It is very important for members to focus on mentoring. Why? Number one, mentoring will allow you to develop a core group of loyal members. And I think this is one of the secrets of IA. 15 years and they have members who are members for more than 7 years or 9 years. Why? Because those members benefited not only from the educational excellence of the club, but from the relationships. Those members are the core members of IA. If Los Baños can transform your members into your core group, these are the members who will never leave Los Baños. And these are the members who will make sure that they will also support new members so that they will become core members of Los Baños as well. And how do you do that? You begin with one-on-one mentoring. That works well. It has been proven many times over that one-on-one mentoring is the best form of mentoring. Personally, I would not mentor more than 2 members at a time. Why? Because that would be very, very difficult. You need to spend time. If you wanted to be a mentor, you need to spend time with your proteges. If you do not have time, do not mentor. And you have to make sure to assist your members. How many projects will it take? Oh, let's change the question. How many meetings will it take for a member to complete level 1? I'll just wait for one answer. Arlene says 3. Lisa says 5. Lisa is cheating. No, joke lang. Yes, correct. That's 5. You need 5 meetings to complete level 1. Imagine, 5 meetings. If you are meeting weekly, that means on the second month, a new member will complete level 1. What if that new member will miss meetings, will only attend every other meeting? That means that member will need 2 full months to complete level 1. What if that member will only deliver a speech once a month? That means that member will complete level 1 in 5 months. That's where mentors come in. Mentors are tormentors. Raj is correct. Because if you are the mentor, you need to push your members hard. Not because you wanted them to finish their projects immediately, but because you wanted their buy-in. A member who is active and participating in the program is a member who will continue to be a member. Attrition is usually defined by members losing interest in the program. If a member is no longer delivering speeches, if a member is skipping meetings, chances are that member will be part of your attrition. But if you have a mentor who will torment that member from attending the meetings, working on the projects, and making sure that the member learns from the experience, you have a guaranteed one active member. And we're talking of level 1 only. And then, move forward to level 2. Once you have reached level 2, what I would recommend is, other than a one-on-one mentor pairs, form GCs. We've done this in Dasmariñas City Toastmasters, and I tell you, this is tough. This is difficult. I think Dasma has already stopped practicing this because it's difficult. Imagine there was one time, 4 years ago, that I am a member of 23 GCs because I'm a member of every mentor GC. Every member is given one GC. The GC is, the members of the GC would be the member, the mentor, the vice president education, and the more senior members of the club, so that the member can be provided strong mentoring. That's cool and that's fun, right? And it really works. But I tell you, it's time consuming. Imagine if you have to go through 23 GCs to respond to questions. That's something for immortals only. And I think after 1 year, I think 1.5 years, Dasma stopped it because it's not practical. But let me tell you, in a smaller club like Los Baños, consider that. Because I think it will work for smaller clubs where you only have you have around 15 members that can be managed. And I would recommend that do not put Miss Betsy as member of all the GCs. Probably let her be a member of a couple of the GCs. But definitely, Rog, Luis, correct. You're the Vice President of Education. Be ready for a great year ahead of you. Why? The VP Education is the workhorse of the club. You have to do practically a lot of things. On top of your VP Education responsibilities, you are also the primary base camp manager. And as if it's not enough, you're also a member of the area council and the district council. Alright, so fellow Toastmasters, as I've mentioned, there are no best practices when it comes to mentoring. Anything that you can devise will work. And by the way, with the pandemic, there is also a new form of mentoring that is actually supported by pathways that has never been utilized by many Toastmasters before. And that is virtual mentoring. Yes, in Toastmasters Pathways Mentor Program, we are encouraged to utilize virtual mentoring. How does that work? I live in the Philippines, but I get to mentor a few leaders from other districts. I'm mentoring them on leadership side, not on the communication side. Leadership mentoring, I think, is easier than communication mentoring, especially if you're mentoring new members because you have to be very delicate with them. Remember, we're talking here of mindful mentoring. A mindful mentoring involves knowledge, patience, and a lot of love. If you do not love mentoring, my recommendation is do not volunteer. Why? Because sooner or later, you will give up. It requires that you actually love mentoring people in order for you to become successful mentor. Okay? Now let's talk about the second half, the other side of the mentoring. Now that you have experienced mentoring in your club, go ahead and complete the Toastmasters Pathways Mentoring Program. There are only 3 levels. Level 3, Level 4, and Level 5. Don't ask me why there is no level 2 and level 1. Because although I can answer that, it has nothing to do with mentoring. If we have time later, I'll try to answer that. You begin with level 3. Level 3 is very easy. It's about preparing to mentor. And all you need to do is answer a worksheet to determine your objectives, your motivations on why you wanted to become a mentor. After you have done that exercise, submit a completion form to your Vice President Education, and you're done with Level 3. Level 4 is easier, is even easy. All you need to do is select a member, mentor that member on one speech project, and after the member has delivered the project, you also deliver a speech project about your experience on mentoring the member. If you think that's easy, wait again. Because you need to accomplish documentation. You need to prepare a plan, a mentoring plan, schedule of meetings, and what are the topics that you have discussed with your protege. Right? But that's easy because it only requires you to mentor the member on one speech project. And if you're currently mentoring a member, that would actually work because that member can be your project, right? And finally, level 5, advanced mentoring. Here, you will need to work on a 6-month mentoring project. So you choose a member, mentor the member on anything under the sun. Does not need to be about Toastmasters. If you want to mentor the member on how to be a successful wedding planner or how to be a successful financial advisor, that will work. It depends on your relationship and your agreement with that member. But you have to do that for 6 months. After, and all throughout the 6 months, you need to maintain records of your sessions, of your meetings, and make sure that these documents are compiled. After 6 months, so you count the number of days. After 6 months, you present a speech project, sharing your experience as a mentor. Now, unlike our ordinary learning paths, you will not receive credits for every level of in the Toastmasters Pathways Mentor. You need to complete all 3 levels in order for you to receive a certificate that you have completed the Toastmasters Pathways Mentor program. But that's not it. You will not be marked as a Pathways Mentor on your base camp unless you have already completed 1 full learning path. So let's say you have completed the Toastmasters Pathways Mentor program, but you are still working on your first path. Let's say you're on level 4 or you're on level 5. You will not be tagged as a Pathways Mentor on your base camp. In order for you to be tagged, you need to complete the first learning path. So these are 2 different things. You will receive the certificate, but you will not be tagged as a Pathways Mentor program. Once you complete the learning path, that's when you get the tag. What's about the tagging? Well, it's for yabang. Diba? You can tell people, see, I'm now a Pathways Mentor. What does that mean? It simply means that you have completed the program and you have completed 1 learning path. What are other best practices, perhaps, or good advice that I can share with you as far as mentoring is concerned? Be consistent. You cannot be hot on mentoring for the first 3 months and then on the 4th month you will retire. If you do that, you will lose members. Why? Because the 4th month is July, August, September, October is renewal. So if you only mentor your members for the first 3 months, chances are by the next renewal you will lose the member. So part of the responsibility of the mentor is not only to help the member gain the necessary skills to advance in the communication program of Toastmasters. Part of our responsibilities as a mentor is to make sure that that member will not be part of our attrition. So if you're a mentor but you are not a club officer, you are boosting the club officers. In the Spanish City Toastmasters Club, we were very successful from 4 years ago up to now. It's because of our strong mentoring program. We have 7 club officers, 8 including the immediate past president. But because of the mentors, it's almost like we have 2 sets of club officers because every mentor can function as a club officer. Every mentor can function like a VP education. Imagine if there are 15 VP educations in your club because of your strong mentoring program. So Los Baños Toastmasters Club, cheer up and smile. You have very strong and very good members. I have mentioned their names. All you need to do now is organize your mentoring program, implement it, and see to it that it will come to fruition and be completed to the rest of the year, of your new program year. And I can assure you, by June 30, 2022, you will have 20 strong members. We will not talk about the member retention and member recruitment because DTM Vaults have covered that. But definitely, a strong mentoring program will definitely support mentoring, retention, recruitment, and educational excellence. Back to you, Toastmaster Peggy.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Nomel, for those tips. Alright, let's start program is the Q&A portion. And for this question and answer portion, I would like to call our moderator, distinguished Toastmaster Bobby Bautista. For any questions you turn on your mic, or you may post it on the chat.
Okay, good evening everyone. It's the time that you hear my voice, how I feel. The floor is now open to questions. Our three guests who are just spoken, and anybody who would like to try to give the first question. I see Joel.
My question is, if you are a member of two clubs, you can you use one fund for the other time and one fund for the other time?
Okay, I see BPM Bolt. Nothing he said. We would give.
Yes, we can do that. But on brevity, you have to advise the education, because once you complete a certain level, for example, you finish your level 1 on one path, Sir Joel, then the notification will go to the two VP education and the president of the two clubs. So you have to advise where are you going to credit that pathways. That happened with one of our members who is a dual member. Then he finished his level at our club. As the VP education, I was surprised that it was credited to another club. Yeah, because I can so on path for MD Toastmasters, the one MD Toastmasters and I will
Please advise.
for LD. I have to finish my fifth path for EE and start with my level 1 for
We can do that simultaneously. I'm also a member of two clubs. I'm a member of Filipinas Toastmasters Club, and I gave my 3 packs to them this year, and the 4 packs to IA. So you can do that simultaneously. Just advise. After your filing, immediately call the approving officer. So the approving officer will be the president, the VP Education, or the secretary. Only 3 of them can approve. The problem is all of them are receiving the emails. Am I correct, Dr. Nomel? I was surprised that all of them are for you.
And also, Joel and BTM Votes, what you need to do is, BTM Votes is correct, you need to advise the club and make sure that as soon as you have completed the club, the award, it is also approved on base camp. Advise the VP Education of the club that will receive the award to submit it in Club Central. Why? Because your name appears in both club centrals. So the VP Education of both club or any officers of both clubs will actually see that they can submit this award for you. So chances are they will rush to submit it.
Who is the first clicker?
Kasi first clicker yan. Or better yet, what you do, Joel, is do two learning paths and then advise the clubs that, okay, this learning path is for Erie, this learning path is for Los Baños. So that the base camp managers will know when to touch and when not to touch.
Very correct. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for BPM Nomel. I guess in retrospect, what you're telling us is wherever you had filed your pathways program, that's where it would be taken.
No. Hindi naman DTM Bababi. Let's say you are a member of two clubs. Let's say in Joel's case, the approval of the learning path was completed in Erie. Even it was completed in Erie, the award will appear in both Erie and Los Baños Club Central. Yes.
Okay. At being dual member.
Yes.
I was registering my part supposed to be to Los Baños, but I was redirected to my club. So that's why I asked the one.
Okay, any follow-up questions to that question? If not, we could go to another question. Anybody who would like to raise?
mag-download siya.
Download siya ng Zoom.
I'm looking at our president. Another question.
Please ask questions because if you do not ask questions, we will be the one to ask you.
Yes.
In pathways, when do you get your DTM?
39.
That's a very good question. I would refer to DTM boards.
There are so many requirements. Are we speaking of the pathways program? Today is the end of the traditional program, the fight of the traditional legacy. But in pathways, you have to complete the 2 paths. Then you have to serve. Oh, today also is the end of the promo. It's been a 3-year. It was extended for 3 years. You need to say you don't have to serve as a district officer in order for you to become a DTM. But at the start of a new Toastmaster year tomorrow, there's still no announcement if they will be extending that, right, Nomel? So we have to follow the list of the requirements. Complete 2 paths, serve as a district officer, serve as a club sponsor. There's an or. Club sponsor or there's a club coach or club mentor. Then speech craft, you have to craft or youth leadership. So there are about how many? About 8 requirements in the pathways program. Yes, those are the requirements.
Yes, and on top of the things that DTM boards have mentioned, you also need to work on your DTM capstone project. So as soon as you have completed your first path and you have completed up to level 3 of your second path, you can actually email Toastmasters, WHQ, and request for the activation of the DTM project on your base camp because it's not automatic. And then you have to complete that project. It's almost like HPL without a guidance committee. But it's more difficult because it will include 360 degrees evaluation and lessons learned.
Thank you, Governor. That is called the DTM project. And again, the request should be made by the VP Education to activate that portion on your base camp for you to work on the DTM project. Okay. Any more questions?
Joel, are you satisfied with your question?
Maybe the question is, which is easier to become a DTM, Governor, based on your experience?
Legacy. Legacy. Because in legacy, you don't even have to
mag-subscribe, ring the bell, mag-like, comment, at i-share mo na.